What's going on, Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey? You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. We have 12 NFL cut candidates, and the entire time you're watching the show, let us know if you would keep them or if you would cut them. The first player that we're going to dive into, it's Sammy Watkins.
$21 million cap hit. You save $14 million if you cut him.
Yep.
Now, I'm not great at math.
Everyone right now should be diving cut.
Seems like a pretty easy decision here for a dude who pretty much was available in one game last year, week 1 for Kansas City. There is not an NFL team out there who wants to pay Sammy Watkins $21 million. And NFL teams always need to be at least somewhat smart about the way they go about balancing and managing their salary cap. That is especially true when you have to pay players like Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes. I can't be giving $21 million to a guy who put up 673 yards last year and 3 scores in the most prolific offense in the NFL.
As a Raiders fan, the Chiefs can keep him if they want. I'd totally actually be okay with that.
He gone. Now, he stepped up in the postseason, but I'm not paying $21 million for that.
Also, for you fantasy football players out there, he basically put up 40% of his points in week 1. Like, dude went absolutely bananas for like 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then did basically nothing the rest of the way. So the question we got, what should the Chiefs do with Sammy Watkins? Type K for keep, type C for cut, and as I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, you can let us know on every single player that we show. K for keep, C for cut. Tom, it's obvious. You got to cut him. You give your answer, and we can give some shout-outs.
It's C all the way for Sammy in Kansas City.
There's another one, Tom.
This is the easiest decision any NFL team will make this year. You can either A, keep Marcel Dareus at a $22.5 million cap hit, or you can send him on his merry way and save $20 million for a dude that's had like 3 sacks the past couple years. See ya. Now, this is technically a club option, so I am cheating by including him on here, but that option's due in like a week. So within a week, you will see the tweet, the headline, whatever. Jags will not retain Marcel Dareus. They have declined his team option. He's on his way out. There's no reason to pay him that, especially when you're tight on cap space like Jacksonville is.
Tight. They're in the negatives, Tom. I believe off the top
But just
of my
like that, they're back in the positive.
But I mean, right now they're at what, negative? I think like $1 million in cap space. I think they're 30th in the NFL. Yes, you get rid of them, you get an extra 20. The Jags, they need to get this thing going. It's just in 2017 they were a play away from going to the Super Bowl.
So close. I also want to make note here on Jacksonville in general. You could cut Calais Campbell, say $15 million. I probably keep him, frankly. AJ Boye, you save about $10 million by cutting him. So you can free up $30 million by cutting 2 guys if you're Jacksonville, and you can spend that money on a Yannick Ngakoue. Obviously not all of it on him, but just like that, you've been able to retain your star defensive player.
Well, Tom, on Friday, Josh Norman, he got the boot. And here's some other players that also got the boot. Vernon Hargreaves, Tony Jefferson, and like I alluded, Josh Norman. Go check out our Josh Norman video we put out on the channel. It's the top 5 teams that could go out and sign Josh Norman. So
these were pretty obvious cut candidates. I mentioned 2 of the Redskins guys real fast. Paul Richardson already got cut. Jordan Reed is still in concussion protocol. It's been like 7 months now, so he's not going to play for the Redskins. I don't know if he's ever going to play in the NFL again, but he will also, I think, end up being cut.
So who does your favorite team need to cut? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you might get hit with an ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to let us know in the comments section, who does your favorite team need to cut? So throw it in the comments section. If you're a Vikings fan, you might have said Xavier Rhodes, and I'd totally be on board for that.
Well,
I would.
I was going to make a Rhodes closed, now open joke, but that kind of seemed lame, so I'm not going to do it. The coverage stats instead will just indicate how far Chris Rhodes has fallen. Last year,
Xavier Rhodes.
Xavier Rhodes. What did I say?
Chris. I don't know where you got
Chris
it from.
Rhodes? What am I doing? Xavier Rhodes, his coverage stats per Pro Football Focus. 83.5% completion percentage allowed, 822 yards, allowed 5 touchdowns, only broke up 6 passes. Dude's washed, or at least he was this past year.
He made the Pro Bowl, though.
Gets the Pro Bowl's a joke. $8 million in savings if you cut him, and Minnesota overall might have a very different secondary next year Wayne's a free agent. Alexander's a free agent. Anthony Harris is a free agent. You got to kind of play Mike Hughes in the near future. You might have, if you include Nickel as a starter, you could legitimately have only one starter returning in Harrison Smith next year in the Vikings secondary. That's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and it's one of the reasons why I thought that Josh Norman could be a potential player that you could see the Vikings go after. But again, the biggest issue again with the Vikings right now,
money's tight.
Minus, I think, like $12 million in cap space. They are ranked dead last right now in terms of cap space. And you got all those players hitting the free agent market. The Vikings defense is going to look a lot different.
And I'll quickly mention Linval Joseph, $10 million in potential savings there. Minnesota's going to have to do some moves here to free up some cap space if they want to retain some of their own options and own players.
Let's move on to my least favorite player. It's Joe Flacco.
So I want to, off tangent here very briefly. I was so tempted to go back to the live video we did of the Joe Flacco trade and just kind of scroll through some comments of Broncos fans telling us how great this trade was. Not only was it a bad trade, because Flacco was not good for them, they redid his contract after he signed. And instead of having zero dead money and cut, and up like $20 million in savings, it's only $10 million. Because they redid his deal, added dead money in the future, and now they got to pay for it because you're not paying $23.6 million to have a backup quarterback to Drew Lock. Denver done messed up.
It's almost like John Elway is trying to be the greatest quarterback in Denver history.
He's not trying to do that because he wouldn't have signed Peyton Manning, Mitch. We've been over this. He just, for whatever reason, has a rough time evaluating. A horrible time evaluating these players.
I mean, they've done a great job, I'll say, on the defense. But yeah, quarterback has definitely not been one of the strongest suits.
He gone.
Maybe Joe Flacco, we could be seeing him soon in the XFL. So do you watch the XFL? Type Y for yes, or you can type your N for no. I'm going to type my Y for yes. Tom, what about you?
I do watch the XFL. I enjoy it a little bit. Hey, look, what else is there? What else is there this time of the year in terms of sports? I'm not going to watch a meaningless NBA basketball game. Sitting around Saturday at 3 p.m., sure, I'll turn on the XFL. But that's something to do at least.
See, producer Brett said the right answer. It was 75 degrees in Dallas. Get outside, Tom.
I did go golfing on Saturday.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So do you watch the XFL? Y for yes, N for no. How about this? You can at least bet on the XFL at BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NFL120. Gets you 120% deposit bonus. So if you want to go bet on the games like the Houston Roughnecks up against the Tampa Bay Vipers, I'm going to take the Roughnecks to win this game and cover that because Tampa Bay can't put up points.
Yeah, because they have yet to unleash Quentin Flowers like they're supposed to, but they're coached by Mark Trestman, so what do we really expect?
No.
Bonus points if you people know who Mark Trestman is.
And I will say this, Tom has convinced me to go bet the unders. I was looking at how many points some of these teams are scoring.
It's not great.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. So go bet the under. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NFL120. All right, Tom, let's talk about Tyrone Crawford, a Cowboy. What do you think that the Cowboys should do here?
I think they're going to try to work out a pay cut with Tyrone Crawford. He is amenable to that. But at a $9.1 million cap hit, 8.1 of that is a base salary, meaning you save that amount if you were to cut him. Yep. You can't bring him back when you got to pay all these other players. You can afford any one player in the salary cap, but you can't be just throwing out money to afford everybody either. He's coming off an injury, didn't make much of an impact. He's always been a dirty work player who frees up others, good against the run, not a 7-sack guy. It's not who he's going to be. Might give you 4 a year, though. There's value there, just not $9 million. You've got to cut him or get him to take a pay cut.
We were talking about running backs earlier in the show about, well, it really hasn't worked out. Here's an example. Devonta Freeman, as soon as this deal went down, I was like, Falcons are going to regret it.
It's funny how different the running back market looks like when Freeman got paid to now. It's been a pretty big uptick. But a $9.5 million cap hit, $3.5 million in savings. That's not a lot. It's about what he averaged per carry this year. That's not good if it's 3.5 or, to be more exact, 3.6 here. He's coming off his career worst year. And I don't know about you, Mitch, but I typically don't tend to believe that if running backs as they age have a career worse year, that they suddenly really get a whole lot better.
See, the thing is, I think when you look at Devonta Freeman, he is a perfect running back. I also say this. The reason why Devonta Freeman had the year he did, Shanahan.
Yep.
Period.
Nailed it.
And now Shanahan's not there. The offense doesn't work as well. Who would have thunk it? Also, like, Freeman was never really one of those players when you look at metrics that jumped off the screen. He was just in a perfect system, him and Tevin Coleman both. So, if you guys want us to do a trade candidate video, right now we're doing a cut video. I want you to type me. So, hit the sub button if you're not already subscribed, youtube.com/chatsportstv. And if you want any other videos, recommend them. Oh boy, seeing some me's. See,
He's mad at Winston so much right now because Winston typed
Winston
you.
is such a troll. So type me if you want a trade candidates video. You know what, Winston? I see you. I appreciate that you're subscribed. Turn on the notification bell. All right, let's go to the next guy. Let's go to Jimmy Graham.
He's not the same guy anymore. $11.67 million cap hit this year. That's a significant amount of money for, I know he brings the name recognition, but his on-field play is simply not there anymore. He's just not good enough. The second highest cap hit among tight ends, I mean, where would you rank Jimmy Graham among tight ends overall? And obviously, contracts are
I don't think he's top 10.
Top 20?
Probably.
Okay, you ain't paying $11 million for that. You save $8 million if you cut him. The numbers have declined. You drafted Jay Sternberger last year. Hope he ends up being the guy. The former great athlete, athleticism has been sapped by injuries. I think he's out of Green Bay at this offseason.
Let's go to the Jackrabbit here. Janoris Jenkins making 11.25. Well, that's the cap hit.
And if
this is easy.
And if they cut him, they save all of that.
This
Now, he was much better once he got out of New York because I don't think he wanted to be there anymore. He kind of,
Agreed.
moped his way out. He maybe comes back on a cheaper contract, but the Saints can't afford to pay him $11 million. Like
That's the
we're
issue.
focused on some obvious guys here. As Troy Daniels says, he's a goner. Jenkins ain't coming back, at least not at that price tag.
Now, if you guys need an NFL jersey, we got a deal for you, or you need hat, jacket, sweatshirt, go to chatsports.com/NFL sale. Hey, I was saying this. If you went out and did something nice for Valentine's Day, maybe you went to Pro Flowers, now maybe it's your turn to get a gift. Go tell your wife, significant other, girlfriend, whoever that, hey, I deserve something. Go to chatsports.com/NFL sale. The important thing to note here is it's up to 50% off. We're trying to help you guys out. Be ready for the season. Next player, and probably I think the most disappointing in terms of running back contracts, Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, he couldn't get on the field. Injuries, of course, a huge factor there. $8.55 million cap hit. The Niners can save $4.55 million. They got some big contracts coming up like George Kittle. And the Niners, look, stop paying running backs. I don't get why they keep throwing money at guys like McKinnon and Tevin Coleman when Raheem Mostert comes in and looks dominant in that scheme. That is the Shanahan offense. They've always had great production out of the running backs, no matter who they were. The Niners should not be paying running backs. They are the poster example, or the poster child, if you will, of teams who think running backs don't matter because they get production out of anybody. Anybody, they have success.
Okay, so I think I already know Tom's answer, but the show's not about Tom, it's about y'all. Do running backs matter anymore? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm still going to type my Y for yes. I think they matter.
They matter, I'm just not going to pay them.
Tremaine Johnson, this was one of those players that we talked about a bunch last year, and now could already be on the way out.
There's only $3 million in savings for Tremaine Johnson, but this was such a bust signing that even though you're not actually saving a ton of money, you just got to make a change here. Yeah, you have a new front office, a new regime has come in. I don't know if I can think of a worse recent free agent signing for the Jets than Tremaine Johnson. He's just been horrible out there for the Jets. So for Tremaine, I think he's on his way out. I think it just makes too much sense for both sides.
Let's go to Rashad Jones here for the, I said something else, Miami Dolphins, free safety. This one is a little bit intriguing to me because I still think he is, if the Dolphins are trying to win, I think you keep him.
Well, you say that, but Rashad Jones, since he got paid, hasn't really been the same guy. Now, maybe a year or two after that, but they have been trying to find a taker for him for so long. They have been like, hey, trade for Rashad Jones. He's still great. Nobody wanted him. A $15.6 million cap hit. They save a little over $5 million of that. He can go sign for a contender. They can bring in a younger player who better fits their timeline in the end. There will be interest in him, but not at its current cap hit and salary and all that jazz.
Let's go now, Tom, to the last player on our potential cut candidates list. Got Mark Barron of the Steelers.
They drafted Devin Bush, who I like a lot, of course. Vince Williams is fine as the number 2 inside linebacker for that role. Pittsburgh, they would like to try and re-sign Bud Dupree. They might not be able to. They got some other offensive linemen coming up for new deals in the near future. They're kind of tight on money. Why pay Mark Barron $8.13 million when you can cut him, save $5.2, and end up getting similar production at a lesser cost? So for Pittsburgh, it's not that Barron's horrible. It's that you don't need to pay him all that much money. They should cut him and save that price tag in the end.